Overwatch is a pretty fun game. Yes, beneath all the hype, the fan art, the fan shipping, and all the other nonsense, Blizzard's hero shooter is actually a ton of fun to play. It can be so many things at once, and yet so easy to get into. However, Overwatch has some problems, because nothing is perfect, and if you love something, you nitpick it to death. It's in the Book of Life, look it up. Here are 10 things currently problematic about Overwatch that Blizzard should really look into. D.Va's black screen of death. This is a bug that's apparently existed since before D.Va was buffed to the high heavens. However, whether it's becoming more noticeable with more people playing D.Va, or it's just happening more, this is a bug that could be an outright killer for many players. Once D.Va's mech is downed, you're often treated to a short black screen before ejecting. However, the same black screen has a chance to appear again once you're out of your mech, thus obscuring your vision for a good second or two. Given how squishy D.Va is in human form, this can lead to either a quick death or being disoriented, followed by a quick death. With all the attention given to D.Va, it's amazing that this issue hasn't been addressed yet, but with their higher pick rate in competitive play, at least it's being focused on more than ever. LOOTBOX RNG. Blizzard did good with its Halloween Terror event by allowing players to purchase the new legendary skins. Granted, they were 3,000 coins for a single one, but hey, microtransactions, pushing people to play more, yada yada. Whatever reason you want to come up with, there are plenty to justify the pricing of the skins. At least you can buy them unlike Summer Game skins. Here's the problem though, the RNG on loot boxes in general is pretty weird. You can go for hundreds of levels never seeing a single skin for one hero, but receive tons of duplicates for sprays, voice lines, highlight intros, you name it. The problem has been alleviated somewhat by allowing players to earn more loot boxes thanks to the new arcade mode. Personally, I would like it if there were bounties and challenges that could reward currency, with a weekly challenge rewarding an epic or legendary skin for, say, 3 set characters a week. The skin itself could be random, but that's just me. Better anti-toxicity tools. While it's one thing to be angry at your teammates and criticize their picks, because sometimes you really don't need a Hanzo on attack, it's another thing entirely to spam easy at the enemy team and belittle everything they stand for. Then there's another level of outright harassment, death threats, and so on. Let's not forget the extra layer of trolling where a player decides to do nothing while actively impeding your progress. You can report such players in-game, but some have reported seeing the same griefer for several days at a time. Blizzard is working on a system to deal with toxic players as a whole, but a solution looks to be a ways off. Now, we're not advocating for a system like League of Legends, which outright bans you for making certain picks, but there has to be something to report straight up terrible people, trolls, and griefers. Competitive matchmaking. Matchmaking is a tough beast to handle in any competitive game, least of all a team-oriented one like Overwatch. If you're playing in a 6-player pre-made team, the game has to hunt for a similar pre-made team to keep things balanced. This is especially a bigger headache in competitive play, but that's a different topic altogether. However, some of the matchmaking can be outright laughable in some situations. Cloud9 member Surefour had not one but 2 separate occasions where he was a master matched with either mostly diamonds or a few diamonds against a team of masters. Perhaps because he's top 500 in the world, but how does that balance out? Is that just assuming that a top 500 player can carry in a team-based game? Or are we going back to teamwork makes the dream work? Regardless, when competitive play matchmaking gets wonky, it gets really wonky. Invisible everything. When you load into Overwatch, do yourself a favor. Play a regular match first. Maybe head into a game with bots and test out your aim, or go 1v1 in the arcade. Why? Well, and this could just be for me and there's a fix I don't know about, so aim all hate accordingly. There are times when you'll load into a match and everything is invisible. Your character model, allies, and enemies are all invisible, making it pretty much impossible to play. We're not sure what causes this, but it's apparently been an on-off issue since the game launched. So in the meantime, just to be safe, log into a match, play a bit, and head for more serious play once everything is functioning normally. It will save you several minutes of frustration in 3v3 or competitive. ROADHOG'S hook. Were you behind a wall or crate? ROADHOG'S hook will find you. Was there a ledge and plenty of elevation between you? Get hooked. Were you on the other side of the map, protected by the Great Wall of China? Well, that might help actually. Though Blizzard did fix the hook so that players wouldn't phase through solid objects to be delivered to death's doorstep, that still hasn't stopped some immensely unrealistic hooks from still happening. Can it be fixed, at least with a slight nerf to range? Who knows, but as it stands, ROADHOG'S hook needs some serious fixes. In this triple tank meta, he's already extremely favored thanks to his high damage, large health pool, and self-healing ability, which can also build up his ult. Sombra. The hacker with all the hype surrounding her has been a somewhat odd addition to the game. She was the subject of numerous ARG minigames to a final reveal at BlizzCon 2016 in what was another awesome animated short. Her kit allows her to hack heroes and shut them down completely, even through ultimate abilities and shields. Sounds awesome, and at a time she was deemed overpowered. Then she actually went live in the game itself, and it's become very obvious that her DPS/support/stealth character is very, very situational. Not everyone has to be a straightforward damage dealer like Soldier 76 and Pharah, or a flanker like Tracer and Genji. However, Sombra fills a specific role that no one really needs right now, and it's a shame given how interesting she is. Why not make the time required to hack someone shorter, especially since it's so difficult to do so? How about slightly reducing the spread on her gun while lowering the ammo capacity? We'd love to hear some of your suggestions in the comments below. Server browser. A somewhat nagging topic since the game was in beta was the lack of a server browser. Overwatch tends to match you based on whichever region you play on, at least on PC. But even if you choose Americas while located in Southeast Asia, it will still match you with players closest to you, which is understandable. Better ping, better games within a reasonable skill bracket, right? The problem is when you go into, say, competitive and are matched with players that are actually overseas and thus have to suffer 240 millisecond ping. It doesn't happen all the time, but often enough to become annoying, and you can't back out unlike quick play lest you face heavy losses. Why not let players choose their own server locations like Titanfall 2 or Battlefield 1? It wouldn't even be an issue of certain maps and modes being favored, since players are simply choosing the locations of servers for themselves. Even if it led to problems with the matchmaking for competitive play, why not provide a server browser for arcade mode and quick play only then? Mods. Did anyone ever think that Team Fortress 2 would ever include kart racing or any other wacky game modes that we've seen from the community? Say what you will about Overwatch's superior gameplay and business models, but Team Fortress 2 has it beat in the mods department. We've seen the potential of Overwatch for other game modes like Lucio Ball and Junkenstein's Revenge, and while the minds at Blizzard were interested in a custom games like browser, that was several months ago. Arcade mode, while fun, is just another set of playlists as opposed to a system that players make for themselves. If mods aren't going to happen anytime soon, because Blizzard wants to tightly control its property, why not allow players to search for different kinds of custom games instead? In-game eSports promotion. It's nice that Battle.net advertises a different tournament here and there, but if Overwatch wants to become a serious esports game, and it definitely wants to, then there has to be some way for players to check out competitive games within the game itself. While not everyone will be interested in esports, the same could be said for Dota 2. And look at the extensive suite of tools that Valve has to view tournaments like the International, right down to watching individual matches. The broad spectrum of organizations and tournaments held may make it tougher to put them under one banner, but again, it's so much more convenient for the players who want to at least get better or learn more about the game than simply heading to the game's subreddit looking for the one thread about tournaments each week, tuning into the Twitch stream of choice, and hopefully seeing their favorite team in action. What issues do you think Blizzard should fix in Overwatch? If you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time.